Hello students. In the previous video, we had a discussion about the introduction of index numbers. In this video, we shall continue with other concepts of the same chapter. It is types of index numbers. Based on the factors, index numbers are categorized into three. The first one is price index numbers. The second one is quantity index numbers. And the third one is value index numbers. The first one, price index numbers, are the measure of general change in the prices of articles in the current period as compared to that of the base period. In a simple word, it measures the change in the price in the current year when we compare to that of a base period. How the price has changed from one period to other, that we can measure using this price index numbers, and it is denoted as P01. Here P represents price, 0 represents base year and 1 represents current year. These price index numbers are also further classified into two. They are wholesale price index numbers and retail price index numbers. That is because we have two different price range in the market. One is wholesale price and the other one is retail price. I hope all of you know what is wholesale price and what is retail price. Wholesale price is the price for which a distributor or a retailer has purchased. Then retail price is the price that we consumers will give for any items or for any goods. Then wholesale price index numbers are the relative change in the wholesale price level, and retail price index numbers are the relative change in the retail price of various commodities. Then the next type of index numbers is quantity index numbers. Quantity index number is actually measures the relative changes in the volume of goods manufactured or consumed or distributed. That means this quantity index numbers tells us how the quantity has changed from base period to current period. Here quantity refers to the quantity produced or the quantity consumed or the quantity distributed, and then it is denoted by Q01. Then the third and the last types of index numbers is value index numbers. Value index numbers study the relative change in the total money value of the production. First, you need to know what is value. Here, value means price multiplied by the quantity. So, the relative changes in the price multiplied by quantity from base period to current period is known as value index numbers, and it is denoted by V01. So these are the three types of index number. Which are they? First one, price index number. Second one, quantity index numbers. And third one, value index numbers. The next concept is steps involving in the construction of index number. If you have watched my previous video, there while explaining limitations, I told you that there are many steps in the construction of index number, and in each step there is a chance of error being introduced, and these are the steps in the construction of index number. The first step is defining the purpose of the index numbers. That means here we need to define why are we constructing this index number. Yes, this step is actually very important step out of all of them, because only if this step is correct, next all the steps will be correct, like selecting the average, selection of weights, then selecting the formula, selecting the commodities, everything will be correct. So firstly, we need to define properly why are we constructing this index number, like for what application or for what use we are constructing this index number. First we need to know that. Then the next step is that selection of base period. Selection of base period means here we need to select one particular year for our reference and for the comparison purpose. We need to follow certain points while selecting this base period. They are, firstly, we need to make sure that the base year that we have selected is economically stable, because only if the year is economically stable, then we can we'll have a justice for the comparison. Suppose if you consider any year which has recession or which had a drought, or which had any situation like the current year we are facing a pandemic year because of COVID-19. Yeah, if we consider these kinds of years as a base period, then definitely the prices will not be usual. They will be either very low or very high. The productions will not be proper. So that is why while selecting the base year, we should make sure that it is economically stable. And secondly, while selecting the base year, we should make sure that it is not too distant from the current period. Like it should not be too like far from the current period. Suppose if I have to construct index number for 2019, I cannot take 1940 as a base year. That is because over these too much of time gap, there will be a lot of changes in the customs, in the habits of a people. So that is why we need to make sure while selecting the base period that it shouldn't be too distant from the current period. And thirdly, the base period should be proper. Then these are the points we need to consider while selecting the base period. The third one is the third steps in the construction of index numbers is we need to select the commodities or items. While constructing the index number, we'll consider or we'll take a set of or a series of items, and we should make sure that for whichever area or for whichever application we are constructing the index number, the items that we have selected is complementing that. Okay, suppose if we are constructing the index numbers for the cost of living, then the items will be like food, school fees, rent, etc. The next point is obtaining price quotations. We need to obtain the price quotations for the selected commodities or for the selected items. We need to obtain the price quotations. We usually know that price of any items or any commodity varies from one place to other place, and not only from one place to other place. Many a times the prices will not be same uh, in different shops of the same place. So that is why what we have to do is we need to obtain the price quotations in the different place and in the different shops over a regular period of interval, and that will help us to get the more accurate index numbers. The next step is that choice of an average. Generally, we'll use arithmetic mean and geometric mean while the construction of index numbers. Suppose if we want the more accurate and more precise index number, then we need to use geometric mean. Since index numbers is a ratio, geometric mean is the best average when it comes to accuracy and precision. But suppose if you want index numbers calculations to be simple, then we can use arithmetic mean, as the calculation of arithmetic mean is simpler than the geometric mean. The next step is that selection of weights. Here weight actually represents importance. So if any goods or items is important to us, what we will do? We'll use more, isn't it? Yes, we'll use more. So that is why we will consider the quantities of production or quantities of consumptions in the base year or in the current year, or sometimes combination of both as weights. I repeat, we'll consider the quantity of produced goods or quantity of consumed goods of the current year or of the base year or the combination of both as weights. Then the last step is to select the suitable formula. We have many formulas in order to construct index numbers, and we'll be able to select the suitable formula based on the availability of the data. For this, I'll give an example. We have a formula known as Laspey's index number. Usually, this Laspey's index numbers includes price of the current year, price of the base year, then quantity of the base year. Suppose if we have only these three data, that is price of the current year, price of the base year, and quantity of the base year, then Laspey's index numbers are used. So I hope you have understood. So basically the formula is selected based on the availability of the data. So these are the 7 steps in the construction of index numbers. I will continue with the further concepts in the next class. Thank you.